I want to make it clear before starting this video that I don't dislike Your Name. In fact, Your Name shares many of the fundamental traits that contribute to my praise for Weathering With You. Both offer excellent animation and art, powerful music, and somewhat interesting themes. However, what I feel sets Shinkai's latest work apart from his previous films is its stronger characterization. This is particularly the case for Hodoka and Hina, but perhaps more impressive is the fact it extends to the rest of the cast. With a greater attention to detail given to each character, I personally find Weathering With You to be Shinkai's most compelling work. Now, there's more to it than just that, but we'll begin here. If you compare the male leads of Your Name and Weathering With You, Taki's personality is generally monotonous, lacking any real imperfections. Hodoka feels more developed in terms of his actions, thoughts, and feelings. This is evident before Hodoka even steps off the ship sailing towards Tokyo. He has unrealistic expectations of how easy it'll be to sustain himself in the city. This is very telling of Hodoka's personality. He acts impulsively and is shown to stick to the decisions he makes. However, balancing this strong-willed nature is the consistent kindness he shows towards others. This is definitely a dominant feature of his personality, being shown as early as his paying of Kei's meal for saving him from the torrential rain on the ship. I should note these are just Hodoka's most obvious traits. He's also shown to be extremely hard-working and courageous amongst other things. Overall, he feels like the most well-rounded character Shinkai has ever made, and this has significant implications for the value of the movie. Not only do you care for the outcome and feel more engrossed in the journey of the story, but even on a smaller scale, things like Hodoka's dialogue hits harder. Take the scene when Hodoka first meets Hina. She hands him a Big Mac and he says,
僕の16年の人生であれが一番美味しい夕食だったと思う.
This statement juxtaposes the coldness he's experienced thus far in Tokyo. It shows just how much it's been affecting him despite his resolute mindset. Hina's simple act of kindness encourages Hodoka to keep going. Shortly after this, we're hit with the first Shinkai music insert of Weathering With You, a feature I feel he mastered with this movie. The first use of a Radwimp song in Your Name is honestly rather pointless and plays out like a music video or compilation. I understand it serves as an opening for the film, but it doesn't really convey anything meaningful. At best, it simply generates excitement for what's to come. However, with Weathering With You, the song Voice of Wind plays amidst Hodoka's antics working at Kei's editorial company. This montage swiftly yet skillfully conveys the growing bond between Hodoka, Kei, and Natsumi. It shows Hodoka finally achieving the sense of belonging he had been searching for, a group that relies on his input. Furthermore, this insert perfectly captures the hustle of Tokyo, both by utilising imagery and the speed of the cuts. I adore the variety of people that Hodoka and Natsumi interview. It adds an amusing element into the mix, which makes this montage feel that much more alive. Now, as I haven't really spoken about Hina yet, I want to shift my focus to the two main characters as a pair. Firstly, I do appreciate that it's a gradual connection that forms between Hodoka and Hina. Its pacing is what gives the movie its emotional beat. To begin with, Hina is rather secretive about herself, lying about her age to Hodoka. This shows her desire to appear mature in spite of all the struggles she faces. This is fundamentally important to Hina, because it means her younger brother Nagi can depend on her. The fact she slowly lowers her guard of maturity with Hodoka showcases the growing intimacy of their relationship. With the second music montage, you really see this in action. It's not only a wonderful celebration of the joy Hina brings to people as a sunshine girl, it also shows her acceptance of Hodoka into her family circle. This connection intensifies to the point that Hodoka, Hina, and Nagi decide to run away together after they draw the attention of the police. At this point, we witness a strong change in the way Hodoka acts. He becomes intensively protective of the family he's made. The time Hodoka and Hina have shared together has moulded them into characters that care deeply for each other. This leads on to one of the most beautiful displays of human connection I've witnessed in anime, and personally, my favourite scene in the entire film. Starting at the entrance to their hotel room, the three laugh carelessly about how Hodoka is essentially now a fugitive. This feels so true to life of their age, being unable to comprehend the gravity of the situation they're in. I have to admire the authenticity this crafts for the characters. After this, Hodoka, Hina and Nagi are shown enjoying themselves to the fullest extent, in stark contrast with the challenges they've recently faced. It's a wonderful display of how, as long as you have each other, that's all that really matters. The song that plays over the scene is literally called Time with Family, and just as the song is warm, so is watching how much happiness the presence of the ones you cherish can be. As we move to the sincere conclusion of Weathering With You, from the moment Hodoka escapes detainment, you truly sense the urgency of his desire to reunite with Hina. Running along the train tracks amidst flashbacks of their time together, in that moment you feel the motivation of Hodoka's desperation. After meeting each other again, Hodoka shouts, "I want you more than any blue sky," and the significance of this line goes further than complementing a highly cinematic sequence. Ultimately, he chooses to save Hina over resetting the world back to normality, which is indicative of what a younger generation would do. Children are much more likely to fixate on defending one thing that's important to them, even at the expense of everything else. This conflicts with an adult sense of judgment. We see this when Kei is talking to Natsumi shortly after firing Hodoka. He states,
人柱一人で狂った天気が元に戻るんなら俺は歓迎だけどね。
The conflict between adult and adolescent mentality is central to Weathering With You. It's what makes the grown-up characters so interesting and dynamic. This is particularly the case for Kei, as he has the dilemma of seeing Hodoka as a child that needs to grow up, yet can't help but see himself in his burning passion to save Hina. So to bring all of this to a close, the main point I wanted to communicate with this video is that the characters of Weathering With You deliver a legitimately engrossing experience. This is something that genuinely surprised me for a Shinkai film, as he normally prioritizes audiovisual spectacle over substance and depth in his writing. It's still an extravaganza, but it balances this with human connection. I'll definitely be looking forward to what Makoto Shinkai has in store for us next time. I've been Russ, and have a great night or day.